Evening all, and welcome to a brand new series of Factory Town. A week or so ago I put a poll up asking what you would like to see me play in Factory Town for the next season. Season 7 this is, wow. The winner was a basic playthrough, which is really good because I haven't played the base game in a long time. I've always had either my no resource placing challenge, which was obviously not how the game was intended to be played. My grand station we had, but that was putting every item into the centre of the map, which again isn't really how the game's designed to be played. And then I had the desert town one in between there, which imposed some really weird stuff with trees and things. So a basic playthrough, just play through the basic game, how we go, and it's a good thing because there's been lots of changes. Version 1.81, we're on 1.82 now, or 0181 I should say. Change the way resources work. So if you have grain in an area, the tiles around that grain grow grain better than somewhere else. I think you can still grow stuff somewhere else, but you can't. I'm not sure. I'm not sure how that works, but it'll be fun to find out because I haven't played through it in a long time, so it's going to be interesting. So we're going to have default, and we're going to basically leave everything as default, but I'm going to do one exception. I'm going to come into the map. I'm going to go to edit and I'm going to change the map size to infinite because I want a map that carries on forever and ever and ever and ever. So we've got quite a nice looking map here. Got a bit of a river here and a river there. Some mountains in the distance. I'm going to try and avoid terraforming. I will do it in places, but I don't want to flatten the land out completely. I like a bit of verticality. It's nice. That's a seed if anyone wants to play along. That's not the seed. That was a testing thing. As I see that were 126524024. So let's give that a go. Boom. Here we are. Welcome to the world. Okay. So interestingly, we don't have any stone. We have stone right over there, not nearby. But that's fine because we don't really need stone to start with. What we need is, well, you need to start making money. And you also need to look at upgrading the base early on. So that's kind of the thing. So we do need some stone and we need some planks. And we need 20 coins. We have 20 coins, so that's okay. Can we build a lumber mill straight off? We can't. We require stone and other bits and pieces. Okay. So unfortunately, we can't get that stone because it's across the water. And we can't build a bridge yet because these cost wooden planks. And we don't have any wooden planks. So we're going to have to, I need to get a lot of stone, and that's the closest stone. So I'm actually going to say, would you be so kind, all 4 of you, to get the stone. It's not normally how I'd start the game. Normally I'd split the people up between stone and wood, but stone is so far away, I feel like we need to get some early on. So we'll let them do their thing for a moment, and we need at least 5 stone to build a lumber mill. And then we need at least 5 more stone to do the base. So we'll get at least 10 stone. Maybe more because there's 4 of them, so we'll let them go. Things that have changed in the game between the last time me playing it and not, as I said, is the... I know I can't see it right now. I don't know how to see it, actually. This bar down in the bottom left corner, this has changed. World data. Is that workers? Crops. There we go. That's all. So in the world data screen, which is this button with the magnifying glass on the globe, you will get information about what's going on here. So here is cotton, and this cotton, as you can see, has tiles around it, and all of these tiles will affect cotton growth. So if you put cotton here, it won't grow very well. But if you put it here, it'll grow really well. I'm not sure what happens if you put cotton on a non-tile. I think it doesn't grow at all, actually. I think it grows with 0 yield. It's a bit... I will find out. But yeah, so that's there. And then we've got grain over here. So that's all the grain tiles. I'm put grain. And cotton over here. And I like this because it means that... Well, if I want carrots, I've got to come over here or here, at least on the starting map, to get those carrots. Which means I need to transport the carrots from there all the way back to wherever my houses are. Or wherever my production line is. And I like that. It gives you, it makes you want to use the logistics. Previously, you could just put down crops wherever you liked, and it just meant that you built everything. You know, okay, I build my whole infrastructure here, and I don't need to go anywhere else in the world. Job done. Trees, we have apple trees. We have all these trees in here. Don't know if trees share affinity. I assume they do. So a pear tree can go on where a normal tree. So I could chop down all these trees, and I could put apples in here if I wanted to. I think. I don't know. Ores are the same thing. That's where you can regenerate ores, and it will grow in that area. Stone is there. We've got a whole stone here. So even if I clear the stone completely out, the affinity will still be there. I'm using the word affinity. I don't know if that's the correct place, but the tiles will be there where you can put stone again down. So that's fine. And then we've got tags, which allow us to actually tag an area. I don't know how to tag an area. That's new. You can double click to zoom the camera around. That's new. Okay, that could be quite useful when you're all the way over here and you want to go over there. You can just double click and zoom the camera goes. I like that. I like that a lot. Right, so stop and stop. We have 19 stone. In fact, you can come back too. We'll leave one. We'll leave one going to get stone. And that'll do. Let's build a lumber mill. Lumber mill requires 10 to 20 logs. So nope, we won't build a lumber mill. We'll get some more logs instead. Makes sense. What else has changed? Goods is the same that I know of. Production is the same. Supply. I think that screen was already in there. Not one I used a great deal. So all the rest I think is fine. Victory conditions. All the rest is as remembered. So you've got lots of information for things you can do down here. Pausing the game, changing stuff, showing the grids. We have 5 different grids at the moment. You have the 6 technically. You have the overhead view, which is just the world. The mining view, which shows you underground resources. As you see here, these are stone. So this is stone underground. So the miners can mine that out. We have a pipe overlay for fluid pipes, one for steam pipes, one for mana pipes, and one for omni pipes. I'm kind of glad they're like that because in the normal world, obviously you can go up and down. You can do 3D. So I can put a pipe in, I can go up over these trees and down the other side. Underground you can't. You've got one layer, so I'm glad they're on separate layers. Although it's been like that for a very long time. Other things that I can think of that I change early on. Well, the action bars do get changed as time goes on, but I find myself using the build menus more than anything. So I will go into a build menu and I will click on buildings and then go, I want a lumber mill. So click rather than grabbing it from here. Don't know why I do that. Just always have. Speaking of lumber mills, we can put one down. We have enough now. We don't have enough people, however. So we have a worker capacity. At level 1, you have a 4 worker capacity and 4 houses. We don't have any houses put down. So let's put a house down if we can afford it. We can't in these 15 wood. We'll get another one in just a moment. And we'll put a house down. Put the house down there. And a house gives you 2 extra workers at level 1 and uses one of the 4. You can upgrade houses using planks and things like that. Speaking of planks, we need to make some. So let's change you, grabbing wood and put it in there. Now this doesn't have a recipe and doesn't have any workers because we didn't have any. Now we've got 2 spare, we can add a worker to it. Oh. Then we can set the recipe, and the recipe is going to be planks. So you are going to take wood from that tree into there. Oh, did not mean to click that, that was my mistake. And then he's going to turn wood into planks. So we're going to need another worker. Put a worker down. And he's going to have to take the planks into the base. Because if we want to build something using planks, so say we want to build some scaffold, which uses 2 planks, you've got to put it in a base or into a barn. In the output of a building doesn't count. You can't use it for construction. These are all your construction resources up here. Not all of them, these are some of your construction resources up here. But you'll notice it says it goes up to 4 when he drops it into the barn, not when he's holding it or not when it's in the lumber mill. So good thing to bear that in mind. You always need to take stuff out of a production building and put it into a storage building. Okay, so we need 20 gold. Now, to get 20 gold, or to get any, well, yellow coins, I should say, sorry. To get yellow coins, we need to sell things to houses. Let's put down another house. We can afford another house? Yes, we can. Let's put down another house next door to it. That increases our people to 8. So we can buy some more workers. I'll work at that. And you take grain, holding right click and dragging out to where everyone go to a house. And he will take the grain and he will sell it to the house. There we go. And the house will buy it for 1 yellow coin. And then they have a happiness level that fills up. They also have a storage in the house. They can only store a certain amount of goods. So you haven't got to worry about the house just eating everything up. And they're smart enough to know, hey, you've got one in stock and you're happy. So you don't need any. So I'll move on to the next person. And they'll do that for every house in range. I'm not sure what the range is. But it does work automatically. It's normally 2 to 1, 2 to another one. So that works. I think a single villager can deal with, or a single pop can deal with 3 houses. But anyway, you are selling coins, selling grain for coins, which is awesome. The happiness of buildings, there are 5 categories here. Specialty goods, medicine, gourmet, general, and basic food. And you'll see when they gain a grain, they sell it for 1 coin. It's got the little one yellow symbol down there, 1 yellow coin. And their green bar fills up. And this fills blue. The green bar is the goods satisfaction. And basically, the more a good costs, the longer the bar takes to drop down. They can only consume another item when the bar... I think they consume automatically when it's empty. So, yeah, I think that's how it works. It becomes a bit complicated later on because you get markets that do things. The blue bar is the happiness. This degrades much slower. And providing you fill up one of these here, so it could be grain, flour, or bread, the blue bar will fill up and start dropping. Again, it works the same principle. If you give them bread, the happiness bar will lower slower, so they stay happier for longer. So you can get 11 happiness from just basic food by feeding them 1 of each of these types. It can be any one, it can be a mixture of them, it doesn't matter. Just so long as it is 1 of each type here, and you get 11 happiness. Happiness, up here, affects your buildings. Currently we have no happiness, we have no bonus at all. We need to get to 10 happiness, which means we need a minimum of 10 houses. Or we need to be feeding our houses 2 things. So if we fed them fish as well, that would give them 2 happiness. So it all adds up. When you get to 10, you start getting a production bonus, which adds on to here. Currently it has speed 100%. It will increase it by a number depending on how your happiness is, and it will increase the speed of how goods operate. Very, very useful. Very useful indeed. Okay, so we have 35 yellow coins, we have wood and stone and other bits and pieces, so we can upgrade the base now. And upgrade the base to level 2 by clicking this button down here. Unlocks new things. We get 4 more houses, so we can have a maximum of 8 now. We have the grain mill, we have the food market, and we have the school, which does research. So, grain market and food market are awesome things. Right now, we are selling grain directly to houses. And he's got to go to this house, and then to that house, and then to this house, and to that house. So if we put 4 houses down, by the time he's gone to all 4, the first one would have run out of goods. It may be, the numbers might be better than that. I'm not entirely sure. I did know the numbers, but stuff has changed so much over time. So like for instance, if I put a 3rd house down there, he should start going to that house and start filling up. Could probably handle quite a few, but he's got to come from there to do that. If we had, say we wanted to give them, well, cotton's not an example because I don't think they can consume cotton. They can consume wool, not cotton though. Okay. But let's just say the houses weren't here. Say they were on this side here. He's got to walk all the way from here to the house, back again to a different house, and back again and to a different house. Whereas if with a food market, he can just go to a standard central place, drop off the goods, and the food market will sell to all the houses in range. See that yellow or green circle? That's how far range it is. They do also need to be connected via a path, which is why you'll see it says there's nothing there, and if I do that, it says a link to one house, because that is connected to that one house there. If I put it here, It's linked to 3 houses because it has a small range all on its own. So yeah, we will get to the food market, but that's basically, we could drop the grain in the food market, and then the food market will sell to every house in range it is connected to. So it makes life a lot easier. However, we don't want to be selling grain anymore because that's not worth it. If we go to the build menu, we can make a grain mill. Let's build one of these. So we'll put down the grain mill there, and let's pause the game. We'll pause the game just for a moment. So the grain mill can create flour, and it uses 3 grain to make 1 flour. The houses consume wheat at 1 coin, 1 yellow coin per wheat. So that means to get 4 yellow coins we need 4 grain, but a flour only costs 3 grain. So by turning the wheat or grain into flour, we get a bonus yellow coin. And also, we get longer happiness gains, so you don't have to feed as much into the house. If you're after a lot of money quickly, sometimes selling smaller goods is better. Lower coin goods is better because you can sell more of them more often, so you get a boost. But generally, you want to go for the higher tier stuff because it's much easier to do. It takes time to produce it, so you need to have the time in lieu to make the goods before you can sell them, which is why the happiness of the bits pieces last for longer, because then it doesn't need a bread every 5 seconds, it needs a bread every minute. I'm not sure what the exact numbers are. You can find out in places, but that's not what we're here for. So what I want to do is I want to have the grain mill create flour and then deliver flour to the houses. Well, that's easy enough. Let's move our houses over here. You can move the houses just by pressing M, the M key, or the move tool is under... In fact, I can't see the move tool down there. I'm sure the move tool used to be down there, but okay, so press M on the keyboard, pick it up. You can rotate buildings with R, and we're going to put one there, one there, one there. They're going to be facing away from us. In fact, no, they're not. They're going to be facing towards us because that's what I need. I need them facing towards us. And then we're going to put a footpath in, and this will connect all the houses together. So all the houses now have a footpath touching them. We'll put the grain mill over by the grain because that makes sense, because we want to make the grain mill here. And we'll change you picking up grain and going to the grain mill. Then we'll use the food market in front of the grain mill, like so. And you can see, because the food market is connected to that path, because it's touching it via the corner, it's linked to the 3 houses. We move it down here. No, so long as its radius is connected to a path, it can then access every house connected to that path in the network. So all 3 houses can be caught from over here. So you could deliver grain to the food market here, and it would sell to these 3 houses when they require it. But we can do it via the grain mill to make flour instead. And this sells all these items that are listed here, and if you mouse over them, it gives you the costs, or how much it actually does. And it says down here how much happiness it can produce. So it's saying currently we have 3 out of a possible 33 happiness if we fed every one of these items to every house connected. So let's do that. We'll put the grain in there. So how do we get the grain out and move it onto the food market? Well, we could use a person, or we could use a chute. We don't have chutes yet. Chutes are still locked. Chutes are locked behind woodworking we need to do. So we need research. So I think for now, what we'll do is we'll build another worker. Oh, and we'll say you, take flour, put in there. And he'll grab the flour, put it in there. And you see it sold for 4. Another 4. Then we'll sell another one and it'll sell to you. And now your happiness, it's still 1 because we're giving it grain still. Right now it's working on actual grains because it's using the grains here, but it's got a flour inside it. So when the grains run out, it will then start consuming the flour. That still only gives us 1 happiness. If we gave them fish, that would give us 2 happiness because we're fulfilling 2 different parts. There's some fish there, but that's going to be almost impossible to get to. There's some fish there as well, bubbling away. But I don't think we can get there either. If there was any fish on the coast, I would grab some fish and sell some there. Because workers, I keep calling them villagers or pop or something. I think at one point they were called pop. But yeah, workers can grab fish from the water, providing they're on the coast. Otherwise, you've got to build a platform out to them, and we don't really have a great deal of wood, so I don't want to be doing that yet. But yeah, here we go. So you are, you're on flour now. So when you consume the flour, see this bar should be dropping slower than the grain is. It definitely is. It definitely is slower than the grain is. It's not 4 times slower, so you still sell more goods. Because if it was 4 times slower, then it would be exactly the same as selling the grain. You wouldn't gain any bonus. So it's probably, you make 4 coins in the time that you would make 2 from that one, and it only costs you 3. So, or maybe it's 3 times. I'm not sure the ratios, but it lasts longer. And if we gave them bread, it would last even longer. They wouldn't need as many bread coming in to fulfill their happiness. We need to get to level 10 happiness, which is kind of difficult to do when you don't have 10 houses. But doable. Houses can also be upgraded to get different tiers, different levels. They can accept any goods right now. I'm not sure what upgrading them actually does. I can't remember why. Oh, increases the population capacity and demand for items. So they will require more items, so their satisfaction will go down quicker. So you sell more goods to them, and it also increases. So when we do that, it also increases. Instead of having just 2 workers per one, we get 3 or 4, and you can upgrade them to level 5. So yeah, before it used to unlock. I mean, level 1 used to just do food, and it used to unlock things. But now everything's available to them. And they just demand, like if you put a wand in there, they would demand a wand every, let's just say, a minute. If you upgrade them, because they're demanding more, they'd ask for a wand every 30 seconds. So you could get 8 coins, purple coins, every 30 seconds. That is an example. That's not exact numbers. I don't know what the exact numbers are. You can find out via the editor. They've changed a lot since I last saw them, so I'm just going to go with it, and I'm not really worried about ratios or anything. Happiness is kind of the end goal, but I'm not fussed about it right now, just so long as things are going. Let's put more houses down. I'm going to leave a gap. Put 3 houses down there. I'm going to leave a gap in between, because you do need spaces for your workers to get around. So that will allow workers to get through here, and the food market can still sell to all of these. So now we could potentially go to 6 happiness, providing we're producing enough grain to make enough flour to give to the houses before they run out of happiness, which should be okay. I mean, you're running out. See, this is dropping now, so it holds for a certain amount of time and then starts dropping down. So we're not producing enough to keep the happiness up for everyone. Our happiness is going to drop down to 3. Nope, it stayed at 4 because that one became happy. So we're not producing enough. We need more. Well, we've got plenty of people, so let's put in another couple of workers here. And let's say, hey, would you also put grain into the grain mill? Then the grain mill can produce more flour, which is awesome. Everything takes time. Bear in mind, it takes 3 grain and 4 seconds. So if I had 5 or 6 workers dropping stuff into the grain mill, its input would fill up and they'd all be sat around doing nothing because this just doesn't work fast enough. You can increase its speed by adding workers to it. So if I put this up to 2 workers, it increases by 25%. So 1 worker in a building increases work speed by 25%. Generally, if you can, rather than adding workers to a building, build a new building. Build a second of the building. Because for 1 worker, you get 100% bonus. So by putting another building down, it costs you a bit of space and a bit of resources. But for 1 worker, you can gain 100%. So instead of getting 1 flower every 4 seconds, or increasing it to 125%, which means we get 1 every 3 seconds. By putting a second grain mill down, we can get 2 every 4 seconds, which is 1 every 2 seconds. So, see how that... It makes sense to build multiple buildings. The drawback to that is you need space to put them in, and you need to supply goods to multiple buildings. Sometimes having a single one can help, but if you can go with multiple buildings, it's generally better. So let's ramp up production. And let's get some research going for this here. So I'm going to put down another 3 people, and I'm going to say, hey, would you do me a favor, put more wood into those planks, because we were okay for planks, but we could do with more. We could definitely do with more. Also, I need to get stone coming over it a bit faster than this, and I don't think we've unlocked any new workers yet. Nope. The wagon unlocks with woodworking, so we need research. So let's do that. Let's do the research. We unlock the school. The school requires 20 stone. We're going to get 1 more stone coming over in just a moment. And the school allows us to access research, and depending on the resources you give it, depends on how fast the research generally is. So we now have 20 stone. We can put a school down. I'm going to put the school up here. We'll put it there. You can move buildings. Do, however, bear in mind you can't move barns or silos or other bits and pieces that have goods inside. I can't move the base because it's not empty. If I drop all the resources out of it, so if I take all this wood and all these planks out of it, I could move the base. So, bear that in mind. That's one of the default rules for the game. A barn or a silo or anything that can store goods and is usable in your construction can't be moved. If this has output inside it, it can be moved because it doesn't work the way. So you could still bend the rules a little bit with that, but that's not why we're here. So the schoolhouse. The schoolhouse, you can put recipes in here, and it requires writing supplies, which is paper, books, enchanted books, and so on and so forth. Some coins, so it's a good job you're selling things, and time. So let's do woodworking first. That's what we want. We want to unlock woodworking, which gives us all that. Barn, crate, workshop, tailor, chute, fence, stairs, benches, forestry, boat building. So we want that. We want that. That's the important one. However, we need to supply it with writing supplies. So we need to make some paper. We can do that with a lumber mill. So let's build a second lumber mill. We'll put him up here. Oh, we require more stone. We're way off for stone. I'm also thinking I'm going to stop 2 of you. Move you up here. And my reasoning behind that is because I know I need 2 workers working a lumber mill to make paper. Although I could change this lumber mill to make paper as well and do it in one place. You can have you can have multiple recipes in the same building. So we can put planks and paper in this building here, and it just requires the bits and pieces here to make it. But I want to do a second lumber mill because it makes sense. It makes sense in my head. I really do need to do this. So once we get the first research going with woodworking, we can get access to things that will make the stone go a lot quicker. A lot quicker. Okay, here's the 5th stone. There we go. Boom. Let's put down a lumber mill. And I want to put him somewhere near the coast. Now you see by these water, you see these blue tiles? The blue tiles mean that if a building touches the blue tiles, it will turn blue. It's linked to water, which means it would automatically supply itself with water. That's what we want. Because to make paper, you require logs or wood and water. And because we can't build a well early on, the only way to get water is to grab it from the banks. Workers can also grab water that you can right click and go drag, so they can do that themselves. But it's better to do it this way. Better to just put it on the edge and it will auto fill water. I think it gains 1 water a second. So you've got to be careful of that. The maximum it can ever intake is 1 water a second. Some buildings use more than that. So you'd have to complement it with added water bonuses to things. So, right, okay. So we filled it up with wood. It's filled up with paper, and let's take the paper and put it into the school. And then that will start researching, and we get 1 out of 100. So we need to create 100 writing supplies. And by 100 writing supplies, it means that not 100, it's 100 pieces of paper, but it would only be 10 books. And a book obviously is cheaper to make than 10 bits of paper. Enchanted book would be 5 of them. Strength, stamina, cure, or protection, you need 2 of them to make 100 books. So not too bad. It's not too bad. And paper, and as I said, it's fairly easy to make, providing you can keep the trees up. So, right, okay, and then we just need to see 100 writing supplies and 100 yellow coins. We've got that, we've got the writing supplies going, so we just need to wait for that to be done. But we shall continue this in the next episode when our woodworking is complete. So, yeah, nice humble beginnings, a nice simple playthrough. If anyone's got any questions about how the game works, I know this isn't really a tutorial sort of series, I'm kind of explaining what's going on with it, but I talk very quickly and lose my train of thought very easily. So if you've got any questions about how things work or how things go, or if you see me do anything wrong, or you want to explain why I did something the way I did and I didn't explain it, do ask in the comments below. I try to answer what I can. And there are other people as well which watch videos that know what they're talking about as well, so maybe if you see someone in the comment asking questions, feel free to answer them. I would like to see everybody helping everybody, because that's the best way to be. So we'll leave this here, we'll come back next time, and we'll take it from there. So thank you very much for watching the first episode of Season 7. I hope you've enjoyed this one, and I hope to see you again in the next one. And until then, as always, have fun.